The scene opens with a small family having a quiet dinner at their house. The daughter Hannah finishes her wine quickly, leading to a disapproving look from her mother. This causes Hannah to pick at her nails angrily until she suddenly feels something start bulging out from her side. Hannah looks down in horror, but whatever it was appears to have stopped, and she tells her parents that everything's fine. We next see Hannah back at home, appearing to be stitching together a dress. She pricks her finger on a needle, making her upset, with her boyfriend Kalen coming in to comfort her. The next morning, while Hannah's taking a shower, we see that she has a large birthmark on her side where she had felt the pain the day before. After the shower, as Kalen makes breakfast, Hannah starts getting texts from her boss, telling her to come in early with her new dress design. She grabs the dress and then runs out the door, leaving Kalen at the house with a worried expression. We see that Hannah works as a fashion designer with her best friend Esther, with the two of them having matching tattoos. Their eccentric boss then comes out of his office and asks everyone to put their designs on display. As he walks around the room, accepting or rejecting the others' designs, he eventually gets over to Hannah's dress. Unfortunately, he notices a small drop of blood that she got on it the night before, and he tells her that her design is just a bad copy anyway. Hannah then runs into the bathroom, with the pain in her side flaring up again. When she pulls up her shirt to look at her birthmark, she sees that the look of it has now changed. Esther soon comes in to calm her down, and they make plans to get some drinks the next day. Later that night, Hannah and Kalen are hanging out at his place, and Kalen shows her a game he used to play with his mom before she died. Unfortunately, this makes Hannah a little uncomfortable, and she ends up pulling away when Kalen touches her stomach. Hannah then leaves his apartment, with Kalen even more worried than before. When Hannah gets home, she tries working on a new dress design, but keeps getting frustrated and tearing up the paper. Her stomach then starts to hurt again, and we see a creature with blue eyes and sharp teeth has started to grow out of her body. The monster then starts to insult her, telling Hannah that she's worthless and will never amount to anything. As she tries to figure out what to do, the creature starts to separate itself from her body, causing her to pass out. She fortunately wakes up just a short time later and starts to look around her apartment for the beast. After a minute of searching, the creature suddenly lands on her shoulder, with Hannah grabbing it and slamming it into the wall. Luckily, the monster seems weak, and she locks it in her wardrobe before patching up the wound on her stomach. While she looks down at her bloody clothes, she gets a sudden burst of inspiration and proceeds to work through the night on her new design idea. The next day at work, she shows off the new dress that she made, and her boss immediately falls in love with it. She then quickly goes to celebrate with Esther before heading to the doctor to get her birthmark checked out. The doctor tells Hannah that her birthmark indicates that she could be a human chimera, a person with two sets of DNA. She says that it's likely due to something called vanishing twin syndrome, meaning that she absorbed her twin when she was in the womb. When Hannah asks her if it's possible for the twin to grow back, the doctor tells her not to be silly. Later that night, Hannah and Esther are at the bar, and we see that Kalen isn't responding to Hannah. While the two continue to drink, we see that the creature has escaped from the wardrobe back at Hannah's apartment. As the night goes on, Hannah starts to notice that Kalen is texting Esther instead of her, which causes Hannah to leave the bar suddenly. Back at her apartment, we see Hannah being confronted by the creature again as it crawls out from under her couch. It tells her that Kalen is leaving her for Esther after Hannah walked out on him the other night. It then says that she is a horrible girlfriend, and it seems to be hypnotizing her with its eyes. Suddenly, Hannah's phone rings, breaking her from the trance, and she hits the creature on the head with one of her shoes. She then carries the beast outside to a basement that's next to her apartment, where she ties the thing up so it's unable to move. The creature then tells her that she'll never get rid of it, no matter how hard she tries. The next day, Hannah starts to look up human chimeras and dual DNA and happens to find a support group that's meeting up in her area. She decides to take a cab down to the location and sees that the place is a large abandoned building. As she walks inside, she is startled by an older woman who is also there for the support group, and the woman leads her to a small room in the back. We see that several other people have gathered for the meeting as Hannah sits down and introduces herself. She is unsure at first, but eventually decides to tell them about the creature that grew out of her body. Fortunately, they all know what she's talking about, and a man named Fred starts to fill her in on the details. Apparently, they all have appendages of their own, and they keep them locked up and under sedation. He tells her that the creatures can hypnotize their hosts, and that's why they need to be drugged. He says that they're working on a more long-term solution, but for now he can provide her with the sedatives. As she later leaves the meeting, one of the girls, named Claudia, invites her over for some coffee. The two girls quickly hit it off, with Claudia making Hannah feel more normal. Later that night, when Hannah gets back home, we see her injecting her appendage with the drugs that Fred provided her. Unfortunately, the drugs have a slight effect on her too, causing her to develop a brain fog. When Kaylin later arrives for their date, Hannah tries to tell him what's going on, but he thinks she's just making it up. The two then get into a fight, with Hannah kicking Kaylin out of her apartment. The weeks then go by, with Hannah picking up the sedative for her appendage and continuing to hang out with her new friend Claudia. One night, after a lot of drinking and talking, Claudia tells Hannah a secret about their appendages. She says that they can see the future, and if you let them talk for a bit, they can help you with your life. Claudia warns her to be careful though, because if she listens too long, she could end up getting hypnotized. Later that night, Hannah decides to talk to her appendage, and the creature tells her that Kaylin will be leaving her soon. It says that Kaylin and Esther are falling in love, and soon Kaylin will forget about Hannah. Hannah then tries to inject the creature before it can talk for too long, but she sees that her syringe has somehow been emptied. Her pupils then fully dilate as she collapses to the floor, with the creature rapidly growing in size as she goes unconscious. A short time later, Hannah wakes up on the floor with the appendage nowhere to be found. She then starts to feel sick, so she goes to lay down in bed, with the appendage soon walking up behind her. The monster then lays down next to her, with Hannah unable to move, and it presses its twisted face up against hers. The creature then lays back, with a worm-like tentacle coming out of its mouth and attaching to Hannah's neck. The next morning, we see Claudia talking to a version of Hannah with blue eyes, as it appears the appendage has taken on her form. Claudia then hands the fake Hannah some contacts to wear, and it's revealed that she is an appendage too. She tells Hannah that she lied about the appendage being psychic, and that she was the one that emptied out her syringe. Claudia and fake Hannah then tie up the real Hannah in the basement before sending out some messages to Kaylin and Esther. Esther thinks that the messages sound a little strange, so she heads over to Hannah's place later to talk to her in person. As she walks up to the door, she hears some noises coming from the basement, so she heads down the alley to investigate. Just as Esther gets to the door, Claudia and the fake Hannah suddenly come out, with both of them being incredibly rude to her. Esther senses that something is wrong, but decides to just head back home for the time being. The next day at work, Esther notices that Hannah no longer has the tattoo on her wrist, so she knows for sure that something's not right. She decides to leave the office immediately to investigate Hannah's house while she knows she's not there. As she approaches the basement door again, she notices some black slime on the ground and grabs herself something to stand on. She sees the real Hannah tied up through the window and breaks the glass with a rock before jumping in to save her. Later that night, we see the fake Hannah and Claudia meeting up with Fred, and he tells them that he has a new way for them to feed. He gives them a short demonstration and then tells them to go find some new victims. We next see the real Hannah at the hospital with Esther, with the two of them making up as Hannah apologizes. When Hannah starts to feel sick again, she realizes that Kaylin could be in danger, and the two girls immediately rush over to his place. With the front door locked, Hannah finds an air duct to crawl through, but she gets attacked by Claudia before she can unlock the door. Fortunately, Esther is able to break in and distract Claudia, which allows Hannah to inject her with the sedative. The girls then run upstairs to Kaylin's room and see the fake Hannah draining him dry, using the worm-like appendage to steal the life from his body. Hannah then grabs some scissors and cuts the appendage off Kaylin, saving his life just in time. The fake Hannah then appears defeated, and when the real Hannah embraces it, it starts to fade back to its former self. The three survivors then sit down in front of the dresser, still in shock over what just happened. We next see Hannah and Esther waking up the real Claudia from sedation, and we see the control of her appendage leaving her eyes. The girls then decide to quit their jobs and start their own fashion line, and they purchase a new house out in the suburbs together. While Esther talks on the phone to a customer, we see Hannah get up from the table, with Esther looking after her, concerned. It appears that Hannah's been keeping a small version of her appendage in a cradle in the attic, and we see her soothing it back to sleep as the scene fades out. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this one. See you next time.